Tottenham had been interested in me for quite a while. They put in a couple of bids which had been torn down, and I think then Daniel Levy and Nigel Dougherty kind of got into a little bit of a kind of a battle, which was then making it kind of more difficult to happen. And there was a couple of people trying to kind of convince me to go to Southampton, but I didn't really want to go there. No disrespect to them, but I wanted to sign for Tottenham, and they'd shown a real interest. Frank Arneson was director of football, and he kind of tracked me. David Pleat was heavily involved in it as well, and they'd shown an interest over a period of time, which was what kind of interested me. But it was becoming really difficult to kind of get the job done and to get the deal done. It was I felt it was the right time for everybody. I felt that there was good money being offered, which probably need to be invested. Gary Megson was the manager at this point, and I didn't really fit into how he wanted to kind of play football. So for me, it was a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest with you. Where I'm kind of looking, well, I don't fit into the way that the manager wants to play football. There's really good money being offered here. Maybe that could be reinvested into bringing in players who maybe suited Gary Megson's style of play a little bit more. But it was just becoming really difficult. And then kind of pretty late on in it, really, it was suggested maybe we could do a deal and kind of get Dawson involved in it, So I kind of managed to rope Dawson in. And it's funny how football works, because he came in last minute as not a make way for the deal, because they really, really wanted him, but he came in a little bit last minute, and he went on to captain the club for 10 years. I was only there for 18 months myself. I'm sure he still owes me a few quid for getting him that move, by the way.
I mean, you had a spell at Spurs and then on to Charlton, Sunderland. Yeah, you had when you look back, you had a good career in the Premier League. You made yourself a Premier League player.
No, I did. And you know what? I was very fortunate that I was never at a club, maybe other than Blackpool, but as a club, Blackpool was fine. But from a football perspective, I was there for kind of 4 months, and I never really played that much, to be honest with you. But everywhere else now, man, I mean, I loved my time at Tottenham. It was brilliant. I would have liked to get more opportunities, but they were signing people like Edgar Davids and it were kind of, and Van der Vaart came not long after, and they were Modric came again not long after. They were signing these type of players, and I just didn't feel like the game time was kind of going to be there for me. And I made the decision really quickly. I didn't want to play in anybody's reserves. I wanted to play first team football. I was kind of 22, 23, 24. I just wanted to play. So but I really enjoyed my time there, and I went to Charlton. Ian Dowie signed me for Charlton and rang me up. I liked his ideas on how he wanted to go about it. He ended up getting sacked kind of really quickly, and then Alan Pardew came in, and unfortunately he couldn't keep us up. But I loved working with Pardew. He made me captain. Kind of wanted to build a team around me, and I loved Charlton because it had such a lovely feel to it as a football club. Loved the people who worked there. You've been to the Valley, and it's kind of
family
right
club,
but it's just got a real community feel to it, where it's set all right in the middle of all the houses, and there's just a lovely feel. And I feel that if things had been a little bit different, I could have stayed there for 5, 6, 7, even 10 years. And, I really, really liked it there. But when relegation happened, we were making a good fist to getting back up. I think we were second in the league. I picked up a little injury, a little knee injury. I was going to be out for probably about 6 weeks. And just as I was getting back from the knee injury, and I knew with the relegation that they were struggling for money in that, Sunderland came in with a bid. And if I'm being totally honest with you, I wasn't in a huge hurry to kind of go, because as I said, I love working with Pards. I was captain of the football club. I thought we're going to get promoted here. And then, I kind of spoke to Pards and says, I'm not massively keen on going. What's your thoughts? And he was like, really, they're kind of forcing my hand here a little bit. He says, I really don't want to lose you. He says, but, it looks like they need the money. So when he said that, I kind of started to think about the Sunderland thing a little bit more. If you're kind of being forced kind of one way for a reason, it's probably not good to kind of hang around. So I started to explore the Sunderland thing a bit more. Went up, met Roy Keane, and then I think it was transfer deadline day, or maybe day before transfer deadline day, I signed for Sunderland. And And again, a club that I absolutely loved. You know, the passion from the fans. I feel that they really took to me. We love living up in the northeast. I mean, me and Candy still speak about it now. We lived in Durham, and she absolutely loved it. You know, even when I left, Sunderland, she was like, "Can we still live in Durham?" And I was like, "No." I says, "We don't play for Sunderland anymore." I says, "You know, it's time to go." And she was like, "Oh," she was devastated. Loved the house up there. Loved the people up in the northeast. Reminded me very much of Irish people in a lot of ways.
Really, presumably playing for Roy Keane was a big thing for you as well, was it?
Well, I played with Roy, and you know, and Roy kind of so it was interesting because we were trying to get the deal done, and you know, and I was in a reasonably strong position in the fact that, you know, I was happy enough at Charlton, so I could be a little bit more, well, you have to make this happen, you know. So we sat there with my agent and going through some bits with the chief executive, and he was like, "Well, we can't give you what you're asking for, really." And I was like, "Well, you know," so if I go back to Charlton, and Sunderland were like second or third bottom in the Premier League at the time, but I did feel that they could. I felt that they could that they could stay up. There was some good players there. There was a nice feel to it, but we were just a bit off, not way off, but we were a bit off, you know, where I'm thinking, right, okay, if I have to go back and play for Charlton, then fine, get myself, you know, over this injury. I was nearly back anyway, and we'll try and get promoted with Charlton. And I think that's probably a good mindset to be in when you're kind of in negotiations with a club, you know, because if you're desperate to go somewhere, then you're not really in a strong position. So we sat there, can't get the deal done. Roy walks in, and we're in the boardroom at the training ground. Chief executive's there, and Roy says, "Are we sorted?" And he goes, "No, we're a bit off." And he says, "Right, give him what he's asking for."
Really?
The chief executive. Have you ever seen that GIF where you see Roy Hodgson, where he just kind of goes like that, you know, he drops his head. The chief executive was like that, and then Roy says, "Come on, we go into the room for a chat." So went into the room, had a good chat with Roy, came back out. Contract was already in there, and then we kind of got it signed. So it was a good way to start.
You don't argue, do you? If he says
you see, this is the thing. You're not going to turn around and say no, Roy. You just say get it done. But so I suppose it was a good start. But I think over my time there, I kind of repaid them. You know, we stayed up that season. I had a big part in staying up, in them staying up. Scored a couple of goals, set up a few goals, played really well. Feel I had a really positive impact in it. And probably one of my most special moments up there was we played against West Ham, and it was 1-1, and we went into injury time, and it was like 94th minute. The ball's come across a Charlton volley and put it in the bottom corner. It was like the place just went absolutely berserk. I think it's probably the best. The best single moment that I probably kind of, scoring for Ireland was really important. But the energy and the atmosphere in the ground when that goal went in, it was just, the roof just came off. Kind of 50-odd thousand Mackems just going absolutely mental. All the lads dived on top of me, and I think then we kind of thought, I think that took us out of the bottom three, and it was then you kind of thought, we're going to stay up here. So we stayed up that season, and really, really special moment. But special club, really, really special club, and again, and I think, a little bit like Charlton, I feel like I could have, possibly stayed there for 6, 7, 8 years as well. Had that kind of feel to it where, it was a good place to be.